Hello. Hi.
Hello.
My name's Ember Knight.
And I'm Vera Drew.
Welcome to Jackass.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
What's up?
Hi.
Hi.
We just watched Jackass with Evan MacDonald of Kino Lefter. Hi, Evan.
Hi, Evan.
Hello, Ember and Vera. It's me, Evan. I'm very happy to be here. Hello.
Very cool.
Thank you so much for coming on. What's your history with Jackass? Were you a fan?
So I never watched the television show when it was on, but they were sort of perennial DVDs that I had as a kid. So I would watch the movies very frequently as a youngster. And I think growing up in rural Nova Scotia, Canada, there's a certain charm to the stunts, except the threat of death feels lessened in Jackass, because in real rural life, it was mostly dying in preventable ATV accidents. And here it's sort of like, something gets banged up, but I'm usually not worried for their mortal beings.
Yeah, no, it's like it's like a roller coaster. It's like a safe form of getting close to death.
Yeah, they're surrounded by medics.
Yeah. And shirtless men. There was a bit tonight. Well, just the last one we watched was Ass Kicked by a Girl, which was Ryan Dunn fighting a female,
a pro boxer.
Yeah, who did kick his ass. But all the other Jackass boys were just gathered around the ring, just shirtless,
Completely topless.
no reason.
No regard for decency.
And do you think that's part of the reason why? Do you think that's part of the reason what's keeping them safe is that shirtless energy? If everybody in Nova Scotia, when they're riding around on their ATVs and jumping off of barns and stuff, if everybody was shirtless, do you think it would be a little bit safer?
I think so, because at the very least, having your friends surrounding you shirtless, it feels like a powerful moment of solidarity. They're in this collective struggle together, right? And, at any moment, it feels like they could be tagged into the ring. So I feel like, they have equal stake in, his getting his ass getting kicked by a girl.
Yeah, it's really their ass.
Yeah. Yeah, collectively.
Yeah.
Ryan's just the representative. It's so perfect that it's Ryan Dunn, too. There's really no one else that I would want in that bit, and he really does. He gets clocked so hard in the jaw, and his mouth starts bleeding.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Do you have a favorite Jackass boy? Who's your favorite Jackass boy? Either just for any reason. I'm sorry. We haven't had a guest in a while.
For every reason. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a sexual attraction.
Yeah,
that's okay.
It can be.
I don't think I have a particular sexual attraction to any of the Jackass boys, but I have to say that Johnny Knoxville has always stood out to me. I like that he is this great leader. He's the Superman of the group.
Great leader.
And I feel like he gets a lot of great marquee moments, and I think that he's just such a fun actor. Even when he's an old person, I'm usually, I would imagine, if you didn't show it to me beforehand, I'd be like, he's running around as an old guy. I don't want to see it. But there's such a beautiful moment of him being an old guy, and I think he captures so many nuances of that mentality and that person that it's always a joy to see him on screen.
Yeah,
we've talked about this before, but one of the things that it's one of Knoxville's superpowers that when he does an on the street act, he seems to have a whole backstory for the character. He's doing a full on character, and that character always knows what to do in every situation. So this is not just old man makeup. This is a very specific old man.
Yeah. That's what puts the bit the next level, because all the old people do feel everybody's version of an old person does have a very specific. They're a very specific type of old person.
Yeah.
I really love I love it when Spike is a woman.
Oh man.
But I really love tonight. We saw Spike Jones. just
Mr. Jones.
Just to,
Yes.
if you you didn't watch the bit, so I got to give you context. But he went down a hill in a motorized cart and kept saying no brakes. And he kept saying, stop me, stop me. And just Spike Jonze's little squeaky Spike Jonze voice. I don't know. Like I feel like even that just feels like a fully fleshed out person.
Yeah. I was commenting this to Vera while we were watching the bits, but when I was a kid, when this movie came out, I didn't like it. The only part of it that I liked was the sketch where Johnny Knoxville is stealing stuff from the store as an old man, where he's just slowly placing items into his jacket. And he gets yelled at, and the guy's like, take that, what are you doing? I should call the police. And he's like, no, this is all me. And he's like, get that out of your shirt. That's not you. You're stealing. He's like, those are my bananas. And he won't stop. He gets kicked all the way out. And then at the end, he picks up the whole little Italian man statue and he tries to make off with that too. And just the very slow progression of revealing that this is a guy who is just going to take whatever he can take. He's not there trying because he's hungry. He's there to steal. Yeah. But it creeps up on you so slowly. And as a kid, I was like, I love that.
Yeah. That's brilliant. It's like the more the angry the guy gets, the more stuff he steals.
And he steals it at the same
energy level.
Energy level.
It's just so casual.
He never rises to meet that's another thing about Johnny Knoxville in bits. He never rises to meet the energy of the other person. He lets them get madder and madder, and he stays exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
That's why it works.
Yeah. He goes in and he sticks with what he went in with.
Yeah. Real actor. He's the real actor of the bunch. Although I think Chris Pontius is a great actor.
Absolutely.
Maybe the best.
Definitely the best, entertainer, birthday or somebody who can work a room.
That's true, yeah.
He can work a fucking room. But we didn't see him tonight, so what was your favorite bit of the evening?
That's hard to say because, to be honest, I was a little disappointed to not see any Chris Pontius tonight.
Fair.
I mean, I guess everybody listening is... they benefit from that because they don't have to hear me talk about how I want to be split in half by him,
Well, I think we all missed that tonight.
So I would have to say my favorite bit was bungee wedgie. Which is exactly how it sounds. They rig up a bungee cord to an underwear from a tree.
An underwear.
And they drop who was that? Rab himself from a tree. My favorite part of this bit is fucking Jeff Tremaine just looking at the underwear bungee and just and people around him saying it's not gonna work, and Jeff with almost with the gravitas of an engineer who just designed a spaceship,
or like Willy Wonka.
Yeah, he says it might.
I really like that moment because, one, I think it contains some of the most powerful imagery of the evening, where I think the bloody mouthguard in Getting Your Ass Kicked by a Girl is, very strong, but also just having those tighty-whities dangling from a tree with both blood and human shit in them. It's like, in decades to come, if we could preserve this somehow, what would people looking back on this say if they just encountered this pair of underwear dangling from the tree? What did someone do here? This feels like a place of great, power, but also fear.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes you think. It's because human race is kind of on its last lap, I think. When everything's done, when civilization's just flattened, there will still be relics of this civilization. Mm-hmm. What will be left over?
That pair of underwear. DVD, all the video games, all the ET video games that came out in the 80s, and people will think that was our religion or something. Mm-hmm.
Something to think about.
Yeah. They worshipped
this weird looking penis alien.
It was their god.
What if just since we're making pretend, what if the next dominant species of the planet just looked like ETs? What would you think of that, Evan?
Oh, that'd be pretty twisted. I've been thinking a lot about that photo of E.T. when he's lying in the puddle, and one of my friends on Twitter talked about wanting to get that at the deli, and if such a delicious-looking alien took over the planet, then I think that potentially there's some room there, in a gastronomic sense. If you're a time traveler, if you could hunt one of those suckers down, go at it. But I'm not a fan of E.T. I was very frightened of E.T. as a child, so I bear no positive will towards that kind of alien. So, yeah.
Were you afraid of E.T.? I knew a lot of kids growing up that were afraid of him. I thought he was cute. I thought he was fine.
I think he's cute. I was afraid of, how they were mean to him and when they make that tubing around the house. That's scary.
So scary. And the part where Elliot's crying and he's like, because E.T.'s down.
When he's sick.
Just to rewind, your friend thought, so the shot of E.T. when he's all sick and
Yeah.
He thought he was yummy?
He thought he looked like a piece of smoked cheese or something?
Oh, some kind
maybe
of
this
ham.
is a question for your... Oh,
perhaps a smoked meat. If the limbs weren't dangling out, just an ET torso, then you if you saw that at the deli counter, and
your friend is sick.
You could put that on a nice Kaiser roll, and
what?
You got a good lunch going.
Send you to Kaiser for some psychotherapy.
Yeah, I want it. Let's call up this friend because
who is not me.
This is my new smile for the podcast.
I've definitely seen that freeze frame though on our trailers. Bobby always finds a freeze frame that makes me feel so horrible.
So ugly, Bobby. You pick the worst. You make the best trailers, but the thumbnail, I'm like, I can't share that. I can't put that on main. I look like fucking shit.
Yeah. If you fancy yourself as a Gen Z auteur,
make us look sexy, man.
Yeah.
Come on. He's sitting right over here. We're yelling at him. This is his bedroom.
You could try as hard as possible to make me look like Billie Eilish.
That would be
the show.
Please, all of us. Just 3 Billie Eilishes, please. It's the least you can do. Speaking of things that are disgusting, I was wondering if there was anything tonight, Evan, that you were like, that is too far.
Yes, there was a moment that I thought was too far, and I believe it was the moment when they visited ALS Technologies.
Oh my God!
It was a horrific moment, and I recently rewatched the first 2 Jackass movies, and of course they go back to ALS Technologies in the second film.
Yeah,
and obviously watching this in the context of sort of many social movements, being brutalized by the police on the regular. It's just a very haunting moment because there isn't really any music when Knoxville gets shot. You just hear the electric hum of the lights overhead. And even usually at the end of a Jackass bit, the guys are like, oh, that's crazy. But there's just silence and shaking heads. And it is very it's a striking moment.
Yeah, and even the guys doing it are just like, yeah, we need to, put all this bulletproof stuff on you and be really careful about where we hit you. And I'm like, oh, really?
That's okay. So that's the side of it that I'm like, that's crazy because just all of last year was the big argument was that these non-lethal things that they're using to suppress crowds and stuff are making people blind. They're fucking giving people concussions. They're putting people in comas and stuff. And here we have the people that design it fully admitting that.
Yeah, they're saying we can't hit you in the chest because you'll die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to wear a bulletproof vest and a bulletproof cup, and we're going to make a bullseye at the exact only place where you can get shot. Yeah.
But if in 20 years police brutality is at an all-time high and people start protesting, then we'll start shooting people in the face.
Fine. That's fine, yeah. Then everyone becomes Johnny Knoxville.
We just need to train our cops to be better sharpshooters. Put them in Apex Legends matches with 13-year-olds. Teach them about quick scoping,
and have them finally watch Jackass.
Be safely used on the streets.
Have they never seen these movies?
No. Yeah. Every cop should be required. Every cop should actually just be sent to an island, and the island should just be exploded. That's my opinion.
That's the training. You're dead. I agree that it's a very brutal bit. It's very upsetting. It's like, I think
it's a huge welt.
It's a horrifying, and he says that it's an excruciating pain to like stand up.
Yeah.
Like 2
and
days
that's
later.
only one shot. Like in an area that's supposed to be like the least amount of damage. So, well, I mean, what happens when people get shot elsewhere. You're either dead or permanently injured. And luckily, I mean, for us as Jackass fans, Knoxville gets to walk away.
Yeah.
I'm going to outlive all of us.
Or he's going to die like this year.
God, I hope so.
That guy's eyeball popped out.
I hope none of us ever die.
Interesting.
I'm honestly, keeping my fingers crossed that by the time that I'm old enough, but I still have enough of my mind that I can just download it into a computer. So then, some shadow of my being can exist in the future. Or, is that too much? Will I be able to experience that? Would Johnny Knoxville be able to experience that if he got old enough? Who's to say?
Well, Ember and I are Christians, so we're just planning on just going to heaven.
Yeah, I actually think that it's so great that everybody dies. It's the great equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or if you were in solitary confinement until the day of your death. Like, everybody gets the same ending, and I think that that's fair and that that's special. So that's how I feel about it. Good.
That's how Ember feels about death. I always wondered.
Amen.
And I was on the way over here tonight. I was like, I hope we get kind of off topic. And I can
Okay, guys who were, what if E.T. was of the world and we ate them when we time travel?
Well, what does E.T. taste like? For real. Sorry, not to get even more off the rails. I was too scared about purgatory when I was a kid and like in the Catholic Church. I remember it was like the Easter when I was getting confirmed, and I had to go to every Easter service, and there were a lot. And
it's still Easter.
The priest was just talking about, what happens when you die, and he's like, well, you have to go to purgatory, and it's just a lot of waiting, and you have to wait until enough people pray for your soul, and then you get to go to heaven. So I've always imagined it as like a blank like airport terminal, and I just constantly wait for like my aunt to go like, well, let's hope that boy gets up there instead of down there. So that's made me like terrified that is going to happen to me, and like I want to like read a book or something, but I forgot to pack one. I want to watch something on my phone, but the Wi-Fi isn't working. That's what I mostly imagine death is like.
God, that's somehow more terrifying to me than hell.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I die and go to hell and like it is like how it is in like Little Nicky or like cartoons or whatever, I feel like I could work my way up the ladder there.
Totally. Yeah.
I feel like I'm just like chaotic good enough that the devil will be like, you don't really need to be here. So
Let's fuck with the big guy and send you out.
Yeah. But I'm also the Antichrist, so.
So he's gonna be like, welcome home.
Yeah.
Chiller. I always picture purgatory as like, just like the scene from Beetlejuice.
Oh God. But that's scary too. Like that's kind of what Evan's saying.
Yeah.
Because like it's
like a really, really cheap abortion clinic. Just like you just like take a number and you sit in that waiting room for years.
Yeah. I love that.
I have another good question about Jackass. Evan, was there a sketch tonight where you were like, I would do that? Like, which one would you do if you had to do one of the ones we saw?
Oh my God. This is a good question. I think that I would like to go down a big hill in a scooter?
Yeah.
I was supposed to say motorized walker. But I don't know. The imagery of that was funny to me. But yeah, I think if you can drive it well enough, I'm not exactly sure what the handling is like on that thing, but you'll be fine. And I mean, the exhilaration of that would be sick as hell. And, if I had to scream out for help and everything, I could, but I think I'd feel more guilty about that than just like, just booting her down a hill and, having fun. Because if I'm just like, oh, help me, I'm an old man, then, what do you say after someone's like, oh my God, like I thought I just did the greatest thing of my life and I saved this old man from certain death, and I'm like, welcome to Jackass, I'm actually me. Then I would feel bad about that part, but going down the hill, absolutely. I don't think I would die doing it.
I was thinking about that at the end of the bit, like because Spike turns to, the guy like helps him down, and then Spike's like, "Will you push me back up?" Like, I
want to do it again.
I'm sure that guy didn't help anybody ever again. He never ever, like, anytime he saw, like, it's probably like Phil Collins, like letting people drown, or RuPaul. Did they both do that? RuPaul let somebody drown.
They both did it. They both did it.
I bet you were wondering tonight what the difference between RuPaul and Phil Collins is.
None.
Oh, Phil Collins doesn't frack.
Oh.
One of them does not appear on Drag Race Down Under.
Yeah. Oh, God. Drag Race Down Under.
Whew. Yeah, I liked that bit. I thought the tagline was good.
What was the tagline?
Push me up to do it again. Also, that was shot in downtown LA. So that's something to factor in is, that was right here, downtown LA. And so that would be pretty dangerous. He was in the road. He wasn't on the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm. That was okay. So that was what I hadn't known, because I've seen this movie 1,000 fucking times at this point. But like, they usually shoot those kinds of things on closed courses, and that was not a closed course. They had like cones along the side. They might have closed like a lane of traffic. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, it was like really insane.
Yeah, it was very skate.
But I do think you're right. I think those things are actually like built so that they don't like dump you if you fall down a hill.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're specifically made if they give out, and like an old person is. So I would probably do that one too.
I liked the shot where whoever was riding it was like popping a wheelie.
Yeah.
And going up the hill. And I liked when Johnny Knoxville was like lip syncing to the rap song. Yeah. I liked that.
Oh, and we got a Dorothy Barnett appearance.
Yeah.
Old lady Dorothy Barnett.
We love Dorothy.
I'm still not sure who these old women are when we meet them.
I love Dorothy because she just works with Jackass and is excited to be the actual old person, and she must be just like the coolest person.
I'm sure of it.
She's just like, oh, you boys are gonna put on makeup to look my age and fuck with people? Of course I will come. I would love to help.
She seemed to enjoy the rap song too.
She loved it.
Old ladies in rap, still funny.
It's still funny.
Yeah. They didn't have it when she was growing up, and she's found a new spark in her life. It's almost like meeting a lover when you're a widow or something. You get to sing along, and don't say anything during the N-word. Hopefully, fingers crossed. You don't have to cancel grandma. But that must be exhilarating on some level. It's like this brand new thing. It's like the computer.
Oh my God.
I'll never forget though, like. Because like that's like the beautiful version of that, but before my grandfather died, I showed him an episode of Eric Andre's show.
Oh no.
And like he basically, like, by the end of it, he was like, I'm just not gonna watch anything new ever again. Like, if this is like what people watch now, no thank you.
That ain't MASH.
I ruined modern culture for my grandfather.
Well,
during his final years, too.
Probably gave him some peace.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what? I'm not for this world anymore.
Yeah. It all. He had such a reverence for like Frank Sinatra.
Oh yeah.
Nobody did it like him.
Not one person.
Old brown eyes, blue eyes,
blue eyes. I think
blue. Those peepers.
You know what? I'm actually going to take mine back. My favorite of the night was Firework Wake Up.
Oh my God.
Which is, it's like, we've seen it a million times.
Praises be.
Phil has to wake up early. So Bam's going to wake him up at like 11 o'clock the night before.
Margera. Phil has to get up really early. And I'm going to make that suck for him.
And I'm wearing 3 pounds of chains and one of those little, what do you call those hats? The flaps?
The Kyle Bravlovsky hat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad we both don't know the name.
Yeah,
of it.
We don't care. This is a hunter cap. Whatever.
But then he lights a firework in Phil's room. Mm-hmm. The firework goes off. Mm-hmm. Phil does not really respond.
Nope. Phil's like up to his bullshit. I know this shit. It's a low payoff. Great outside, great wide of the house with just fireworks going off inside the window.
That was one of those moments. It's like, that's the difference between like the Jackass movies and the Jackass TV shows, is like that's just like a really funny, I don't know, that's just like a well directed segment, and you don't really see that on the show as much. But yeah, And then, of course, later, 5 hours later, when Phil actually wakes up, he gets in his car, and then there's more fireworks in the car. And again, he's not really mad about the fireworks. He yells at Bam because he almost broke his leg getting out of the car.
But that second one kind of pisses him off.
Kind of. But again, it's because it's Phil, it's not pissing him off for any of the normal reasons that I would be pissed off if my fucking crazy son. But again, it's like,
your crazy, sexy little son in his sexy little outfit, lighting fireworks again.
We opened the floodgates of you, because now you're comfortable talking about being sexually attracted to some of the Jackass.
I'm not sexually attracted to Bam, but I agree that he's sexy.
Yeah.
Like he at that age, up until this movie pretty much embodied like a beautiful, like the sex appeal of a wild animal.
Yeah.
Of like a cheetah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't I don't want to tell people how to live their life. It's abstract. But if he got sober again and got I could see him having a really hot renaissance, in his 40s, where he's
I would love that for him. I think that he's in his 40s.
His 50s then.
All right. Is he in his 40s?
If you cut that burp, I'm going to be really mad.
Burp stays. Burp's in the trailer. First shot of the trailer. In fact, that's the still. We are Billie Eilish, but hold on the burp. Bam's 41. Okay.
Bam is 41 years old.
He could still clean up in his 40s.
Yeah.
He could still clean up in his 40s. Okay. What wild animal would you compare Bam's sex appeal to?
I think a cheetah is right. I think it's
you can't steal mine. You need your own.
Let him have it. This is the one time somebody's agreeing with you and you're shutting them down.
You can't copy me. Now you see my problem.
Yeah.
This is the problem with me.
You don't.
I'm like, everyone hates me, and then I'm like, everyone's copying me. You're right.
It's tough for me to come up with a unique comparison right now, because I've been watching the show on Disney Plus, my favorite streaming service. And it's just called Meet the Chimps. And I'm realizing that chimpanzees and apes of all kinds have so many different personalities, right?
True.
It's so hard to describe a chimp as they think this one way. They're people.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, there are playful chimps, there are wise chimps, there are dangerous chimps.
Yep.
So I think that, and of course they're executing feats of physical prowess daily. Swinging from things,
absolutely,
slamming things into the ground. So, I think they kind of exist in a similar place. It is this sort of primal experience of emotions, joy, fear, everything else. You can see it in chimps, you can see it in Jackass.
Jackass is really the nature channel of humans.
Yes,
that's so true.
And it speaks to the thing you were talking about at the beginning of the show, and that I feel like a lot of when we have a guest on from Canada or from the Midwest or more rural parts of the country, they always say oh yeah, the stuff they do on the show is part of the culture of where I'm at, and young people hanging out and stuff. I think it speaks to that too. I don't know what my point was there.
It's beautiful.
I've been smoking a lot of CBD lately, and they say it doesn't have any psychoactive effects. I disagree.
Yeah, I super disagree with that.
Super disagree. CBD. Don't smoke CBD before work. Okay?
Do you think any of the Jackass guys are going to have their own line of CBD products, or do they already have a line of CBD products that I'm not aware of, like a Dan Bilzerian Ignite type thing?
No, he's sober.
Steve-O wouldn't. Yeah, Bobby's saying Steve-O.
No, Steve-O's sober.
But yeah, in AA, they're not cool with CBD.
They're not cool with it.
But I think I'm surprised none of them do. Or none of them have. I'm surprised none of them have one yet.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like, I don't know. I'd love to have my own my own strain of weed someday. That'd be cool.
I could see Aaron getting into Juul. I don't know why. It's funny to me.
I saw this Whisper Secret today. The Whisper Secret. Those are no. You know what Whisper Secret? Yeah. It just said, "Can I Juul inside?" And I don't know. I just feel seen sometimes on the internet, and that was just one of those moments where it's just yeah, I know that all too well.
Also, Wee Man had Chronic Tacos.
He had Chronic Tacos?
He had a line of taco restaurants.
Called Chronic?
Called Wee Man's Chronic Tacos.
Why didn't that
go
last? Sounded like I was being sarcastic.
No.
But that sounds
incredible. There might actually still be a couple. Bobby says, yeah, there's still some locations.
We're checking in with Bobby a lot
we
tonight.
should go to Long Beach. We should do a road trip one. We should do a road trip episode.
That sounds great. Let's do that.
Long Beach isn't really a road trip, but
it's about an hour away
pretty
from
far,
here.
yeah.
Have you ever been to Long Beach?
No, I haven't. I was about to say it'd be a road trip for me. Quite a few days, 14 days in quarantine. It's a very long distance from, the northern reaches of the Rocky Mountains, but love to go sometime.
You can't even probably get into our stinky old country right now.
No, non-essential travel to the United States, I think, is prohibited. But, every once in a while, people can get in. I can say, my grandma's dog is having an anxiety attack, and maybe they let me in. But, I don't want to go. I'm sorry, your country.
Tell them it's for Wee Man's Chronic Tacos.
States, probably for the next 10 years or so.
What?
Why not?
What?
Greatest country in the world. What?
Yeah.
You're a socialist. We love socialists here.
What's wrong with you? That's fair. We agree.
I live in, probably, I don't want to say Canada's worst province, but Canada's most uniquely challenged province right now, Alberta, because we're both trying to separate from the country, and we have the highest rates of COVID infections in all of North America. So I think we've really done an outstanding job, and we're also a hub of oil and gas development. I have my own problems here that I need to deal with, but America, I'm sure there are some parts of it that I'd like to visit, but especially right now, I can't even process it.
If you had to visit America and you had to pick your top 3 places that you would pick, would Wee Man's Chronic Tacos make it on the list?
Number 1, by a long shot.
Number 1.
Fly in, pay for that very expensive plane ticket, and then, I try to explain to the cashier why I'm there, but, since I'm socially distanced from everyone, it's coming out garbled, and I'm just like, well, I was the podcast, and then I learned about the taco, and I just came here, and could I have one, please? And then I'd walk out and be like, this trip was a success. I'm really proud of where we got, and what's the selection like? What's the quality? I'd have to check out the menu. I think before
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Required to.
We're gonna pull up the menu.
Trigger on that trip.
We're gonna pull up the menu right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out what our dream order at Wee Man's Chronic Tacos.
I have a feeling there aren't any Alberta locations for Wee Man's Chronic Tacos.
How do we know?
Also, by the way, every single person that I know that lives in Canada tells me they live in the worst part of Canada.
Yeah, you guys.
It's such a contest. I think Alberta has a lot of reasons for being horrible. I'm from Nova Scotia, which famously had a horrific mass shooting last year, which was one of the worst in our country's history, and it's also deeply racist, probably the most racist province in the country. There's a case for New Brunswick to be the worst. I have some family that lives in New Brunswick, but there's nothing there. There's a Boston Pizza, there's a forest, there's a couple gas stations. It's Canada's gateway to Maine, and other than that, it's not terribly interesting. But there's the campus of some universities, interesting places, because for my work I had to go there every once in a while, and that's kind of everything I've seen for New Brunswick. And then you get farther west, and then it becomes Quebec, and Quebec is fine.
Awesome.
It's got some issues, but it's interesting. It has an F1 track. No other province can say that.
So Wee Man's Chronic Tacos has a lot of Mexican food. One of the things is chronic fries, which is clearly just nachos with French fries.
That looks good,
but
though.
It looks really fucking good.
It looks like carne asada fries or something.
And then they have many tacos kinds, but their menu actually is really hard to navigate. And it's really confusing. So.
Yeah, we have a few notes about the website.
Potato taco,
but. Your tacos look good. It looks like LA style taco. It looks like a good. It's
probably really good. I'm gonna look and see if they're in Canada.
Thank you.
Yes. But it doesn't negate the fact that if you come to America, it has to be on your top
Somebody
list.
searched. Oh, no. Oh.
No, this is Los Angeles.
Oh wait.
Canadian locations.
Canadian locations. Calgary.
Oh,
Manitoba.
That's the 3-hour drive.
New Westminster, Vancouver waterfront,
That's on the other side of the country.
Airdrie.
Airdrie's super close.
There you go.
Airdrie.
You got one in Airdrie. 2765 Main Street South, number 110.
It's in an apartment.
It's just Wee Man's Alberta apartment.
I will show up to the Wee Man Alberta residence, and then I think he just cooks for you at that point, or you have to wait for him to fly back from wherever he is to get a Wee Man taco.
Yeah, it sounds worth it.
I love Wee Man so much. He's so just like, he's just, anytime he's on screen, I just feel happy. And tonight we got to see him do Big Cone.
Big Cone.
Which is him under a large traffic cone.
Yeah.
In Japan. Freaking everybody. Like, people seem genuinely, like, there's this old lady who, like, sees the cone coming at her, and at first she stops, and then she approaches and then the cone moves a little bit, and she, like, jumps back like it's a fucking bobcat.
I think she's trying to obey it. I think she's like, oh, it's a traffic cone. Oh, it's moving. I should go. Like, she's trying to do what it's like. He's directing traffic, and she's trying to do it correctly.
Oh yeah, we were like witnessing her brain, like recognizing what was actually happening.
She was like, oh, it's a traffic cone.
Yeah.
I shouldn't enter the intersection. But then Wee Man actually is just chaotic.
I see.
But maybe she was having a heart attack. I don't know.
This bit has such a great ending too, with him just walking. He blocks an escalator, and people
coming down, and everyone is like, it's a very crowded escalator, and he's just a full traffic cone just blocking it.
And you know what? I don't want to I don't know. I'm not. This is less a generalization about Japanese culture and more so just America. If you did that bit in America, if you blocked an escalator,
everyone would kill you.
Everyone, like, nobody gets mad in this bit.
No.
It's just like people just seem very inconvenienced. But if it was in America and somebody blocked an escalator, Wee Man probably could get shot.
I mean, in Party Boy, he probably would have gotten his ass kicked in America.
Oh, I'm certain of it.
Yeah, not a lot of people are carrying guns here, so I don't think Wee Man would get shot. But I think most of the time in Canada, at least in Edmonton, where I'm broadcasting from, I think most people would just like politely avoid the traffic cone. But on some days, if it's a Friday night and the Oilers are playing, then Wee Man, you might get stomped.
Ooh, that's hockey.
That is a hockey team, yes, the Edmonton Oilers.
Did you know? You knew I used to play.
Yeah, I think I heard that because I am an avid fan of the show, of course.
So
that was back there somewhere.
I was fishing. I've kind of been fishing for that the entire episode, and that I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting you to say it off that one. So I'm glad. So thank you. Thank you for being a fan.
Thank you for being a fan.
You're welcome.
Do you think that me and Vera are cool and smart?
Well,
I do. I mean, a recurring theme on this show is sort of your quest for stardom, and it's sort of like having people like accept the talents that you are, and then like your big break is always around the corner, right? So as a fan, I'm really emotionally invested for that moment. So yeah, of course, this is it's I wouldn't say it's an easy listening podcast. I don't think it's quite in that genre. Not trying to be insulting, but I think it came off as very funny.
Yeah, it shouldn't be easy.
But it's a great window into the American psyche, because I think there's a type of Jackass podcast you can do where it's just like the male form and capitalism and everything, and those critiques are very interesting. And I mean, you've talked on the show before about you want to stray away from
you see what happens?
Jackass,
you see what happens when
Jackass isn't just for boys, and I think you've been very successful in carving out your own niche, and as a fan, folks, I love it.
Well, thank you.
Are you done?
There were a lot.
Is there more?
For now, yes.
Dang it!
There was a lot in there that hurt. I do think I am going to edit that into a commercial for the show.
And it's just one Billie Eilish complimenting two Billie Eilishes.
Yeah.
I could be the bad guy era Billie Eilish. One of you could be the the new Billie Eilish, the blonde one, and then someone could be like 14-year-old Billie Eilish, like just having her big break, putting on a song on Facebook.
I want to be aged Billie Eilish. I want to be 45-year-old Billie Eilish.
A Billie Eilish we haven't even seen.
Yeah, not yet. We don't know. She's like Cyndi Lauper.
And like with your like the kind of like mullet thing, like yeah.
And rich, and we're all really rich.
Yeah, we're all rich, and you have a plane and a boat.
I
don't know why I'm embarrassed that like the identity that I've carved out for myself as a comedian and content maker is that I'm trying to become famous and change culture.
That's beautiful, because then everyone can be excited about that narrative.
Yeah, but I don't know. But hearing it, like actually hearing that get recognized, was hard for me just back then, back there. But thank you for all the compliments.
Yes, and I'm sorry. I mean, you've brought on one of the world's #1 content watchers and evaluators onto the program because, of course, Kino Lefter, the widely celebrated, much listened to podcast that's winning all of the podcasting awards, is well renowned for its expert analysis. So I'm sorry to use those explanatory tools on your program, but I think that we've learned a lot from it.
No, and you know, we appreciate. Do you? Because you kind of look at pop cultural things from movies from the leftist perspective. What is your like leftist understanding of this show? Do we check? Are we good leftists? Your head's a little sideways.
I don't want to do the production of the show, but I think it's always that would be an interesting place for a drum roll. Yes, you're
constantly
good
do it, yeah.
But no, I mean, in the show's history, I think we did an episode of like a Jackass retrospective like last year, just talking about the experience of rewatching the movies, and I don't think that it's interesting or useful to try and ascribe too much of a political label to like Jackass, because you can pick apart so much of it saying like it might be problematic when they go to Japan and punch some people because they're playing into these stereotypes, and I got my ass kicked by a girl, and it's like for the content being as old as it is, it could be far worse.
Yeah.
So yeah,
big time. This era specifically, I would say, like of comedy films, like yeah.
Brutal. And of course there's like positive male friendships and everything else, and it might fit into like it's like a better Fast and Furious, because like a lot of people say like Fast and Furious is like it's about family, this is an everyman story, but Jackass captures sort of a an everyman experience in one hand, and then also it's great escapist art, but it's using what people have right in front of them. And I think that there's there's an inherently sort of part of me that's interested in that. It feels not, I don't want to say low budget, but it's just like it's exuberant. It's just like these are the things that I wish I could do in real life. And even something like Knoxville, like pushing a joke in public much farther than you thought it could possibly go. It's just like there are these like social realities that we exist in, which can be completely overturned with enough imagination or willpower. And I mean, that's sort of like the taking the argument maybe a few degrees farther than it ought to. But at the end of the day, it's just very entertaining, and I think
that's where we want to go. Like that, I think that right where you get a little philosophical there, right when you start to make it a little gay. That's where we want to be. That's where we want to be. Right when it starts to be about imagination and changing reality and magic, that's where we want to be.
And the sort of like community aspect of it, you're watching a show get made with the like relatively limited resources, especially when they were making the actual series. Yeah, no, it does. And I think that is also why it stands the test of time, is like, I think like the whole like, is like punching down okay in comedy thing has always been kind of just a reductive argument, because like this show definitely punches down, quote unquote, sometimes.
Yeah, but nobody gets punched more than these guys.
Exactly. So it's like it's like, I don't know. I think that that's why it passes this purity test, because like even when it's quote unquote punching down, it's not about like humiliation and exploitation and like ha ha ha, look at people are different. It's we're all friends, we're all shirtless and we're gonna drink moonshine after
Yeah,
this.
ha ha ha, I shit my pants.
Yeah. Speaking of shit my pants, Dave England, I gotta tell you, your questions tonight, your segues, I don't know if it's intentional, but you sound like a professional fucking podcaster tonight, and I look up to you both as a friend and as a collaborator. Can we add a cartoon spring under Ember's hat?
Cartoon spring, please.
Dave England can shit on pretty much on command.
Yeah.
That
bitch can shit.
He's got some poop in there.
He does poop. This
poop in the hole.
What was this one called?
The toilet store.
Toilet store.
I don't know. I made that up.
Dave England goes into a hardware store and takes a shit.
Well, he tries to.
Yes.
He tries to.
Shh.
He has to poop so bad in the car, and they're all making fun of him, and they're all poking him, and they're all making it worse. And Johnny Knoxville says, "Is this the worst you've ever had to go boom boom?" And he laughs, and then he shits his pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then everybody throws up. All the cameramen get shots of each other puking, and when they get the shot of Lance Bangs puking and crying and laughing, they credit him as Lance Bangs vegetarian.
It is the best. It is like probably my favorite Lance moment of all time, just because he is crying, laughing, and puking at the same time. Like all three. It's kind of beautiful.
His face is so wet.
Yeah. And he's just so happy. He's just like, he knows he just made a great sequence in a film.
It must have been so cathartic for him, because who can say that they've done all of those bodily functions simultaneously?
Only a Jackass crew member.
One time I had a really negative experience
And Vera.
with magic mushrooms once.
Oh no.
And it resulted in me puking, and I did shit my pants a little bit.
Wow.
But I wasn't laughing.
Yeah.
So Lance got me beat there, I guess.
Lance is like, yeah. Well, afterwards, literally later that day, or they lied and just said
I think
later
they
that.
lied.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Well,
How do you have to shit again that fast?
He might not have shot all of it. It might have just
sure.
been what was coming out the hole.
But you see him pull down his undies in that first shit, and there's a healthy amount of poo poo in there, a boom boom in there.
There's quite a bit of boom boom. They do show you a shot of the boom boom afterwards, and I wish they hadn't.
Yeah, I don't need to see boom boom.
Wish I hadn't seen the boom boom, but you know what? They had to show you the receipts.
But yeah, he goes in. I interrupted you. He goes into the hardware store and
interrupted you 25,000 times.
Yeah.
It's
almost like we're not interrupting each other, but we're having a conversation, and we're meeting in the middle.
Just steam.
Knock this down.
Oh yeah. Evan, what did you think of the boom boom?
I think it says a lot about someone based on how they were potty trained, whether they would be into this bit or not. I've heard that before, where it's like instinctively, like after you use the bathroom and potentially after you wipe, if you need to look and see what happened, then I think that says something about how you were potty trained. Like you were potty trained in like a very positive way. Like your parents would celebrate you for using the toilet like that. But if you can't stand the sight of human shit, especially your own, and you just need to flush it away, then you had a very negative potty training experience.
This
is very pop psychology stuff. I heard it once and it stuck, and I was just like, that says so much about society. So, I think, I had a very, positive potty training experience at the very least. I thought it was funny. And as someone who's lactose intolerant, folks, sometimes I have to use the bathroom a lot. And I thought that, the biggest thing for me using the bathroom in a hardware store is just like, there's no toilet paper anywhere near those display toilets. And I started panicking in that moment.
I got a little scared as you started talking about that because I thought it was going to go the other way. I thought you were going to say that if you do inspect the mess after you're done pooping.
That it's a sin and that you get upset.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't worried that it was a sin.
A sin. It's a sin. What movie? What's that from? That song?
It's a sin.
Yeah. It's a sin.
I don't know.
Or maybe it's not from anything. Maybe it's from just a song.
It's
just
a song. Yeah. But it might be in something. American Psycho.
It's a weird song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think more songs should be about sin, though.
Have you looked at your sin? Have you looked at your boom boom?
No, but I do call my poo my sin.
So you had a bad experience.
Yeah, no, I look at it and I look, I wipe and then I look at the paper.
Yeah. See if you need to wipe again.
Yeah. But I also have a bidet now.
Oh wow! I want to invest so badly. Yeah, to get even more blue on the show. I mean, as a man, I think that I was not properly socialized in how to take care of your behind, especially after shitting. Because it's just like, if you think toilet paper is sufficient just to use the bathroom, like, I'm sorry, but that's absolutely not true. Like, the invention of the baby wipe, and just like, I need to feel fresh down there constantly, or else I'm not going to have a good day. I feel like
Bobby,
so
are
many
you hearing
people
this?
are shut out of that kind of existence. Like, people who just use toilet paper are here in like B tier. And people who
sorry about baby wipes for shit.
You're in A, and of course the bidet I think is S tier. But then, like, I don't know, do you just walk around with a wet butt, or is there a drying function to the bidet? I don't know how it works.
Let me answer that. Some have a drying function. Those are the more pricey ones.
Like blows?
Yeah, it blows air.
You?
Blows cool or like slightly cool air. Mine just shoots up a really powerful stream of water.
Yeah.
And does the job it's supposed to do. And then I usually, I air dry for a few seconds, or I'll grab a piece of toilet paper. Yep. Give it a quick wipe. Quick pat. And then you actually get to see, did the bidet do its job? And the answer usually is yes.
Yes.
It did its job.
Return on investment. You want to look at a non-brown piece of toilet paper to make sure that you as a consumer, you weren't scammed. You bought the right bidet.
That should be the commercial for bidets. It's like other bidets show, like how,
clear as bidet.
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't want a benite where it's dark.
Clean, clear, and under
in your
control.
butt, in your poop.
Yeah, you don't want your
when
poop.
you wipe, it should be clear as bidet.
Can we talk just for, just because we're in this cesspool of talking about feces for 20 minutes.
Oh, no. It's a sin.
Dave England's sin, the color of his poo was so disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, unhealthy. And I know we have some mutual friends. If this makes its way back to Dave, I'm saying this more so just out of genuine concern
for Dave.
Like, your poo should not look like the way it looks in that toilet. It's very thin. It was like very like kind of thin, and
yellow.
Yeah.
Well,
poo's not supposed to be yellow.
I thought that shape-wise, it had like a good consistency. Okay. It was all one piece. It wasn't like a splatter effect. Okay, we weren't seeing a bunch of like wood chips. We had a clear, clean log, and that I think is always a good start.
I see. Towards a healthier.
So I would give it, like a 9 in shape, and then I would give it like a 4 in color. It was kind of a funky color.
I think that color brings that 9 down to like a 7, and I'm gonna give the color.
I said for shape. It's just a 9 for shape.
Well, I think it affects the shape. Color affects shape.
Give it a separate score.
Color
for
affects
color.
shape. Have you ever drawn a picture?
No. Why don't you show me how?
Do you think passing on this advice to Dave now would be helpful, or do you think that nutritional science has advanced so
we're doctors? We can help. We saw his poo.
I'm so worried. I don't know, like, because at one point we did want to get people from Jackass on this podcast, and it was like a genuine, it like did affect how we talked about it and stuff, but then we quickly realized like we can't really talk about like Bam Margera being a drug addict in like a way that's like politically okay to have like make it, but like, I don't know. I would hope Dave if he heard it's coming from a place of just eating, eat healthy, take care of your body, love your body.
It's possible that he took a laxative or something to perform for that.
That's true.
Yeah. Or maybe he ate something fucked up that he knew would make him shit.
Our producer Bobby's saying he did.
He took a laxative? How do you know?
I feel like I heard this in commentary.
Oh my God.
I used to watch the commentary.
Bobby is a nerd. Grade A nerd. Why don't you get over here and be on the podcast?
No.
I'll kick your ass.
Keep him over there. Don't kick his ass.
I'll kick his ass. He'll love it.
Is
there anything else to talk about?
Yeah, Mousetrap. Is
this
the only time Aaron McGee? McGee appears
McGahee?
in Jackass?
Irish
movies?
Aaron. Oh no, he appears other times, but not tonight.
Yeah.
This is how I talk about Aaron, because he's from the old country.
Will you set up the bit in this?
Yes.
This amazing.
Well, Aaron, he'll do anything for a laugh. This lad, he's mad. We pray for him constantly back home. We say, "Oh, my boy Aaron, we hope one day you achieve your dreams." I'll keep it going. And we raise a glass in the pub, and we hop, we step dance, we do a little jig for him, but it's no good. He lets these boys bully him about, and in this case, he dressed up as a Mickey Mouse, and he wore gloves. Oh, he wore gloves and a little diaper with a tail, and he wore a big mouse hat with mouse ears. And then, oh, God bless the boy.
It's so hot in here.
He crawled on his hands and knees.
It's just so hot in here. It is so hot. I feel like everybody
on the mouse traps.
We don't talk about that as podcasters. I can't have a fan on for the audio reasons.
What?
Oh, I was just saying we don't talk about that enough as podcasters, how it just gets too hot when you're recording. Because I want to have a fan on. I want to crack open the window. I live across the road from a senior's home. The sirens are going off all the time, so I can't.
They are.
Yeah. If you're, people write to me a lot and say, I want to get into podcasting.
They do?
Yeah, and they say, like, what do you recommend? And I always say, if you live by a senior's home, this is not the game for you.
It's not for you.
It's not for you.
It's not for you.
So,
Aaron crawls in the mouse traps, and it hurts himself quite hard. And then because it was not enough, he's like, I did it. Time out. I'm done. And then everybody throws mouse traps at his penis and his butt.
His penis.
And he's like, guys, stop. Time out. Stop. And they're like, ah ha 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 ha, because they hate him. They hate him.
But it's right. I mean, they needed to put, because the bit kind of just doesn't really go anywhere.
No.
It's like, but I will say his mouse outfit is among one of the better ones I've seen on Aaron. Like one of the better outfits I've seen on Aaron.
That's good.
I got so excited though because while we were watching it, we were getting a little bit of echo from you, and I heard mouse, and I immediately thought, because you were watching and it was a little bit ahead of us. I heard mouse and I thought, oh, this is probably this must be the Chris Pontius bit.
Oh, with the penis.
Where he puts his peen in that, and nope.
That's the beginning of number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait another movie for that. But
yeah, it's quite good.
It's quite good.
Quite good. We love it.
I think that was all the. I have such bad handwriting.
I know. I can't read your notes. They're always safe for me. Can't decipher them.
What is that? What word does that look like?
Ass glove.
Head shave. Oh. This is the first time we saw. This is the first we saw a running gag in
Now it won't fall down.
So Bobby's getting legit mad, I think. But this is a reoccurring bit that we see throughout the movie. This was the first time we saw it. Somebody's just going. Is it Bam going around?
No, because it happened to Bam.
Oh,
it might be Knoxville, or it might be different people doing it at different times.
Well, apparently on the set of this movie, they were just walking around, sneaking up behind people and shaving the back parts of their head.
Yeah, with the Jaws music. Yeah. It's good.
Which, I don't know, that would piss me off so much, even if I knew it was coming.
They do it to in the edit. It's first to Bam, and like you can tell that like he's mad as hell. That guy cares about his hair. It's like not funny to him.
No.
Like how it wasn't funny to Bobby when I knocked down the green screen on purpose.
Yeah, no, that sent a chill throughout the room.
He left the room.
Bobby just quit the show.
He literally just walked out.
Who's going to man the Patreon?
Literally
Who's
not
going to press
us.
record on the Zoom call?
I don't know how. I hope he comes back.
Me too.
Everyone at home say, I do believe in Bobby.
Everybody, clap your hands. Evan, clap your hands if you want Bobby back.
If you want Bobby back.
Hashtag Godspeed Bobby. Hashtag come
I
back
can't
home
hear you
safe.
anymore.
Oh no.
Oh.
Bobby, come back.
Did we
The importance of Bobby. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yay.
Where can people find you? This was so great, by the way.
Yeah, this is so fun.
Will you please come
thank
back
you.
sometime?
Sure, yeah, anytime. I'm an unemployed podcaster, so I have time. People can find me on Twitter at MacDonald Tweets, and they can find my widely celebrated socialist film podcast, Kino Lefter, at Kino Lefter on most things. And also, friend of the show, past guest of this program, Sarah Squirm was just on, talking about her new special. So if you want an entryway episode, there it is.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah. It's a good show. I was on it. I talked about sleepaway camp with you.
That was a great episode. I think we solved a lot of problems. You know, it was a great conversation. And, you know, scholars will be looking back on it for years to come.
Well, I was just because I had listened to your show before that, but I was just so relieved because sleepaway camp, spoiler alert if you don't want sleepaway camp, spoil it for you. There's like a killer in it that's a little girl throughout the movie, and then you find out at the end that the little girl's actually quote unquote a little boy, and you see like a full frontal shot of her, and like it's labeled as like a transphobic movie. I think of it almost as like a queer revenge film, like the way it's structured, because every kill she makes totally justified. Like totally completely justified. It's just at the end that it is like she's framed as like this crazy freak. I was just so relieved to have like a nuanced discussion about a movie that I do think a lot of people think is like quote unquote problematic, and then that's it. And it's like that's just one of those movies that in a lot of ways did kind of just inform my understanding of my transness and stuff. Like in the same thing with like Hedwig and all that stuff. So I'm just glad there's, I don't know, listen to Evan's podcast. I'm just glad there's people out there just talking about like pop culture in a way that is not like, is it good or bad? Or is it more like, you know, just like
stamping a verdict.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Well, cool. I'm going to check this out. I haven't heard your podcast, and now I'm excited.
Thank you. Very heartwarming to hear that. And I agree. My show is very good. And if you want to listen to the Jackass episode, patreon.com/Kino Lefter. There's where you can find it.
Fuck yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Evan. We'd love to have you back sometime. Stay safe up there in Nova Scotia. It sounds like a scary, fucked up place to me. I'm not going to be visiting
I'm living
soon.
in Alberta now, and it's way worse than it is in Nova Scotia right now. So, you know, I can't be safe anywhere.
Yeah, well, none of us really can anymore.
Well, if you go to Chronic Tacos, let us know how it goes.
Yeah, will you please go to Chronic Tacos?
Please go to Chronic
I
Tacos.
can do a Alberta correspondent report from the
oh my god,
Chronic Tacos place. Because like Airdrie and Calgary, it's pretty much on the same route, so you could probably hit both of them in a day easily.
And now we go to our man on the street in Canada. Evan?
Audio food reviews.
All right, we're hanging up now, okay?
Yeah, we're leaving. The episode's over. You're the best.
Thank you so much, Evan.
Toodaloo.
This was very fun. Thank you for having me on.
Bye-bye. Tune in next week for Here's Joke.